There were some things that happened to me as a model that we didn't really get into, that connected some dots for me.
Do you want to get into any of that?
Well, it was something that happened to me that Jeffrey had set me up with, and the modeling agency that I was with at the time, I felt like they had set me up in a situation, and that was one of the worst things that had happened to me knowing Jeffrey. And I have an NDA, so I can't say who it is, but I just want to say that there were things that he did to me that were terrible.
Jeffrey did, or that the agency did?
Well, all three of them together, but I'm talking about with Jeffrey. I don't want to stand here just because I say things of he's a mentor or I felt this way when he died. I want to say he did a few things that were very horrible to me, too. And I've finally gotten to that place now where I'm speaking out and talking about those horrible things. It took me years to get there.
So you have an NDA and you can't say who. Can you say what?
Well, that's what I was saying. There was a situation maybe a year after I knew Jeffrey that I had went to an event, a movie premiere in New York City. And Jeffrey had called me after and said, I want you to go to this restaurant. So-and-so is going to be there. It'll be a great party for you to go to. And I'm like, oh, well, okay. And my girlfriends and I were probably going to go stop by there anyway because it was a big party that night. It was a movie premiere after party. And so I had gone with my girlfriends, and Katie from Forward Modeling Agency and some other models showed up there as well. And there was a celebrity that was just all over me that night. And I was just like, leave me alone. And he was gross and old and like stunk, and like I could tell he was doing coke. I don't know. There was just like a very bad vibe coming from him. And I was just like, leave me alone. And he was like, yeah, bring a girl. We'll do a threesome. And all. I was like, dude, leave me alone. He was so gross. And I remember telling Katie, about this guy or whatever. And I got away from him and I was with my friends. And later on that night, Katie took us to some parties. And so we went to a couple parties. And then the last party, she was like, oh, we're going to go to a friend's house. The friend's house happened to be the same guy I told her that wouldn't leave me alone. So I was just like, why are we here? And it wasn't his house. It was his hotel suite that he always stayed at on the Upper East Side. Ironically, right around the house from Jeffrey. And so, long story short, I ended up going into the bathroom and Katie and the girls ended up leaving. And when I walked out of the bathroom, I was there all alone with this guy that I was trying to get away from earlier. The same guy that Jeffrey had called me to go to the party, that was going to be there. So then I didn't know what was going on. I always thought, though, something was weird about that night, how it came together, how she left me there. And I was kind of angry during that time. So that always stuck in my mind. I had it in my journal. I knew all about that. I hadn't connected the dots on that until 15 years later, where I'm finding out things about that night and from emails and my attorneys and things like that. I was deposed. I had to talk about that. And I would have never because I don't do that. I'm not trying to go after celebrities and saying, you were there and you did this, even the ones that one abused me. I never wanted to go and speak out. But the Adult Window Act was open, that I could go back that far. And because I spoke out, I was deposed for another case, and I had spoken out about that night because it had to do with some other girls. I was just like out there now. And so my attorney's like, we have to go after this guy. And I'm like, no way am I going after one of the biggest movie stars in the world. I'm not going after him. And then the adult window opened up, and then it was about to close, and they had sent him something, and he was just like, oh, whatever, I'll deal with that. I don't remember. And then we found like a Getty image, like an image from that night, all celebrities. But I was in that picture and I was like, ew, like just like this with the celebrity. He's like, ugh. And I was like, ew. And I was like this little skinny little 5'9" and 115 pound, looked like a little boy, and little boy body, at that time. It's like, what? Maybe it was meant to be. Like, why was that there? And so my attorney sent it over, and that's why they were just like, oh, shit. Like, so I settled. It didn't go public. It was going to go public the next day, and I did not want that. I did not want that because everybody would have known about that. And I don't want that out there. So I was just saying that's a really important part to my story because that happened. And then we went through the JP Morgan discovery. And then through that discovery, I found out of the people involved and how deep that went. And how my story was wrapped into really proof of what was going on. So there's all these like layers and like waves of like, what? Are you kidding me? And that's why I speak out today. It's really why I'm here, is because you're going to see, you're seeing now, these stories that didn't add up then, but now that we're going through this case, Virgin Islands, JP Morgan, survivors fighting each other, getting deposed, discoveries happening. There's a lot of truth that has come out. And because I've been speaking out and learning all this and in this with my attorneys, I've learned so much that gives me so many answers to what happened to me for those 3-4 years.
So obviously in the moment you couldn't necessarily see the forest for the trees, but now when you're looking back at it and going back to the theater of all of this, like, do you think that Jeffrey trafficked you to this movie star specifically? And this was all a big...
Yes. And I think that, yes, it all ties together. And the person who also was there was well known for knowing him and sending girls back and forth. So I found that out later, and it just like, that broke me. It just disgusted me. It's like I had this whole career and finding that out, like I'm a little pawn to you, like it just disgusted me. It really was a hard one for me to learn that. And I didn't want to learn about it. I was actually just happened to have learned about it because of this window open and I was deposed and just telling my story, like forced to tell my story.
What year was that?
This what happened in 2001, 2002. Yeah.
And so you signed an NDA, and obviously so that you couldn't discuss it in detail.
No. And I wish I hadn't, because now I have the podcast and I wanted to discuss. I really do want to discuss what's going on, but yeah.
Happened the way it did, and you were a kid. You're a kid.
I know.
You weren't looking 20 years down the road and
yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll have a podcast one day. Like, what the fuck is it,
No, and who knew there would be a picture?
Well, right.
Who knew? Like, how did that? I just think the gods were looking out for me, because why that picture was there? I mean, you'd have to dig really, really deep. I mean, someone did a YouTube. There's a YouTube video of someone who was diving deep and found all the information. Like, sleuths are out there; they're good. And he was like, and it's Lisa, because look at the beauty mark. You can match the beauty mark here to the picture back then. I was just like, man, like people really want to know about what was going on in that time, and that's the modeling industry for you.
What's up, guys? Thank you so much for taking the time to watch the interview. If you got anything out of this video at all, please like the video, leave me a comment, tell me what you thought of the video, tell me who you'd like to see on the show. I really appreciate the support. It goes a long way on these platforms, as you guys know. Most importantly, I have some excellent interviews coming up in the future that I'm really, really excited about. So please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of them. But that's it. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate it, and hope to see you again soon.